Coming through. Hi everyone, we are back. We are really excited about the next few months. We're doing lots of lives. Just to introduce you, this is Nat. This is one of our florists.
Hello.
Here at Triangle. I'm definitely not a florist, so so today what we'll be doing is a bridesmaid bouquet, and we've also got to do a few buttonholes to show you. So we've got some tulips and some roses just to show you the difference between them. As you can see, we've got some beautiful colours, a really nice wedding we've got on this weekend at Simpton Hall. As you can see, we've got lots of ranunculus, roses, tulips, some spray roses and some thistles there. So I will leave Nat to it. Like if you can hear us loud and clear, and if you would like to share it with your friends if you're enjoying it, just to see what we're doing. So yeah. I'll leave it to Nat.
Okay, here we go. Right, so today we're doing a lovely bridesmaid bouquet. I'm going to start with just taking some of my foliage off. I've got some lovely roses here, which I'm going to start with, and taking the thorns off as well. Okay, they've gone for a really lovely colour scheme. We've got some beautiful oranges and reds with a little bit of purple in there. Okay.
So as we go along, if anyone has any questions about what we're doing today, about the flowers, varieties, or even about an up-and-coming event that you've got going on, you will please ask those questions, and we're happy to answer those for you. If we can't do it and we don't have that information for you today, we'll always comment in this section below, ask one of our florists or even the managers. So let us know where you're watching from today. We'd love to know where you all are. We are in lovely Suffolk, in Martlesham to be exact. But there is lots of roadworks out there, so it's not too good today. Lots of beeping out there, not very good.
It's been a very busy morning. Right. I haven't taken all the foliage off because the bride has specified she didn't want too much foliage going in there. She wants a very natural look. Right.
We've got Elaine watching from Great Yarmouth. Nice to see you today, Elaine.
Okay. So we're going for a very non-structured look. Very open and blousy, very natural looking. So I'm going to start with my spray roses, and then I'm going to add in, what am I going to go for? I think I'm going to go for the tulips first. I'm going to do a little group of the tulips. And then a little group of the purple on the other side.
God, we've even got Nicola watching from the Sunshine Coast in Australia.
Ooh, very nice.
Very nice. I'm very jealous of you,
very
Nicola.
jealous. Okay. I'm just slowly building it up. You can take bits out and put bits in, depending on where you think they look best. But this idea is very non-structured, so a little bit less thinking about where you're placing everything, because they want that more natural look. So as you can see, I'm just turning it and seeing where I think it looks quite nice, and making sure you've got a bit of everything showing.
So for all the bouquets, you're making them all random, aren't you?
Very random, yes.
Is it easy to do a random bouquet, or do you find it slightly more trickier than a structured one?
From a florist point of view, I'd say it's probably harder doing a random one, because you're so used to having a structure and a pattern, and and make sure everything looks quite symmetrical. I'm very bad at making things symmetrical.
Yeah.
I makes me feel a little bit twitchy when I don't have everything just where it should be. So it's lovely though to have something a little bit out of your comfort zone, just to show that you can do something a little bit different. And it's quite surprising actually when you try something different, just how much you realise you love it.
Yeah. So you've got Elaine asking a question to say, do you wire your tulips to stop them from drooping? Is it necessary in a bouquet?
When I normally use tulips, I normally put them more towards the centre of the bouquet, therefore you don't need to wire them, because you've got everything around it to keep it very structured, to stop them from flopping over. So I probably wouldn't. Depends on what other varieties you've got going in there.
Yeah, perfect. We've got Amanda joined us, and we've got Claire. Amanda's from West Mersey in Colchester, quite close.
Yeah, just down the road.
You ready to go?
We've got Dee, from New Forest. Worked as a florist in the 70s and 80s, loving the natural and less structured designs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're so popular at the moment as well, aren't they?
Yeah, very in at the moment.
Yeah. They work really nicely with these flowers.
Yeah, got some lovely varieties. Ranunculus are one of my favourites. Very nice. Okay, so you can see I'm just slowly building it up, thinking about the colours, where I've placed different colours and doing a little bit of grouping of different varieties. Might just bring a couple of them a little bit higher just to give it a little bit more of height.
We've got Tasha just joined, she's from Blackpool. Just started on my floristry adventures with a combination of self-taught and online lessons. Well, good luck to you, Tasha. If you do need any help from us, we're happy to help you with any inquiries that you might have.
Definitely.
We've got Claire who's joined us, and we did her wedding bouquets in September, I think it was 2006 now. So they were very beautiful and they weren't. So yeah. Really nice colour scheme Claire had. She had a nice blues and coral colours in hers, so very different to this. Really nice.
Well, we've got lots of different textures going on. You've got the lovely softness of your ranunculus, and then we've got the spiky eryngium, which is lovely. I think they work all really well together. They do blend in quite nice together. Again, gives you that real natural look. Everything's slightly different.
Perfect. So whilst Nat's doing that, did everyone have a good New Year and a good Christmas? Comment in the section below. We'd love to hear what you've been up to over the holidays, while we haven't been able to be with you over the time. We've got Tasha asking a question. What do you find the hardest thing about the profession?
Ooh. I think personally is the choice of flower. So when you have a bride, for example, come to you with a colour scheme, for a florist point of view, there's so many varieties, there's so many flowers you can choose. It's sometimes having too much choice, I find, is the hardest part. You just don't know what to choose.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can have. I find that really difficult sometimes. Yeah. You're almost spoilt for choice.
Yeah. I suppose that is true, because when we, for instance, say even about DIY and things like that, there is so many, it's almost sometimes quite overwhelming to go on the website.
Definitely, yeah.
Just because even in the rose category, there's hundreds of red ones, for instance.
Yep.
So Valentine's and things like that can be quite overwhelming for someone, maybe. And we've also got regular Mrs. Muldew, Great, you're back. Have you a definite time each week? What you can do, Joan, is you can visit our events page. It's not specifically the same time each week, but we've scheduled in what time that we're doing each live. So if you go over to our events page, you'll see all of the different types of lives that we've got going on. So next week, what we're going to be doing is a preparation for Valentine's. I know it's really early, but what we're going to do is just give you a brief overview of the best way to condition roses, the different types of roses you can get. So as we were just saying, it's so overwhelming with all the different varieties. There's lots of different red ones, so we're going to show you and give you a comparison. I think, if I remember rightly, we're doing Grand Prix, Freedom, and also there's a smaller variety. I think it's going to be either the red Calypso or I think it's ribbon red. I'm not too sure on that one, but that will just give you an overview, set you up and prepare you for Valentine's Day. So make sure you just visit that events page, and that will just give you an idea of what we've got coming up. And also you'll be pleased to know, I think we had a suggestion a while back about a sheaf bouquet. That is one of ours. That is coming up. I think it's on the 28th of March, so make sure you watch that one, whoever suggested it.
That would be good. I haven't made one of these for a long time, so it would be nice to make something a little bit different.
It ties in with Easter perfectly because we're very popular for lilies and calla lilies at that stage, so it will tie in very nicely with the time of year.
Right, I think I might be nearly there with my placement. Again, like I said, it's very hard not to fiddle. You're so used to making sure everything looks very symmetrical and very together.
So hit that love button if you're liking the bouquet and you're loving the different types of colours and the randomness of the bouquet.
There.
We've got some wows, we've got some loves. Perfect. Oh, we got a sad one. Oh, we've got a flower. I didn't know you could do a flower. Ooh.
Oh, lovely. There we go.
Perfect.
That's about right.
Ooh, just show that. We've also got this really beautiful rose. I don't know if you all can see, right at the bottom there. It's called the Wild Look Rose. I popped it on the Instagram the other day and it's absolutely beautiful. If you head over to our Instagram page, you'll see exactly a close-up of that rose. So what are you going to do with the bouquet now?
So now I'm going to tie it with some string or twine, whichever way you'd like to say. And once I've stopped fiddling, that is. I'm going to tie it with some twine, and then I normally put pot tape round just to secure that it's very, very stable, so it's not going to come undone. Just like that. I normally give it a good double tie just to make sure it's nice and secure. Just tied there. And I've made sure that all my stems have gone round in a very nice spiral, so it feels nice and secure in your hand and very soft to hold as well. Because you don't want an awkward bouquet, because you don't want to have to keep moving it around and that sort of thing. So then I'm just going to use my pot tape. I've gone for the thicker one rather than the thinner one. Which is the 12mm, I believe.
Right, yeah.
It's just a lot easier to use.
And just to let you know, it's not called pot tape on the site, it's actually called anchor tape. But pot tape, every florist used that term, so don't worry about that. We've got someone, so she's enjoying your colour choices. I do weddings part-time alongside my full-time job. Christ, you're very busy. And love the opportunity for the creativity and to create something which has such an impact for the couple and their guests. Here's a steep still. I did recently lose them. Oh, we'd love to see those. So send us a photo. We'd love to actually see the bouquets you've been making. I joined late. What's the name of this bouquet? This is actually a hand tie. We're just creating a hand tied bouquet. It's a very random bouquet that we are creating today, just because that's the kind of theme and the colour scheme that the bride has gone for. So every bridesmaid's bouquet is going to be different.
Yep.
It's using the same varieties, but it will be different. So they're using more so grouped together, using nice seasonal flowers. I might just bring it a bit closer to the camera. Sorry, Nat.
All right.
Just interacting with the live here. I apologise. I don't know if you can see this right. Sorry. So this is a really nice rose, in fact. I'm doing that right. This is called the Red Eye Rose. Really lovely, really different, very out there. We've got lots of ranunculus, we've got clunies. So we've got the Wild Look Rose. A Sirius Arindium, really nice colour, a bit of silver to it. Got your spray roses, and we've also got something different which is known as the Flash Eye Rose. Really nice, they've got a nice middle to them, so it works really nicely. Some Asclepias and some Pussy Willow there, so really nice bouquet.
Lovely.
So what do you do with it now?
So now I'll probably pop it into a bucket. I'll cut it down a little bit and then pop it into a bucket until it's ready to be finished tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll just cut that down now.
So you literally just put it in a black bucket and then work with it tomorrow?
Yeah, because you want to make sure that it has a longest amount of time to drink.
Yeah.
So I just cut it a little bit. So I don't cut it as much as I need to for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'll just cut it down a little bit just so the stems are all level. Pop it in a bucket and then a bucket of normal water.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow when we come round to finishing it off, I'll do a nice binding tie point.
So why don't you finish it off now as opposed why do you finish it off tomorrow?
It's just a case of if you're using like a really nice ribbon like a satin or a chiffon or anything like that, there's always a chance that it could get wet or it could get damaged in the bucket, and if it slipped or something like that overnight and you didn't check it in the morning, then you want to just make sure everything's perfect before it goes out tomorrow.
Perfect. Brilliant. Okay.
I'll just cut them down.
That's right. On the floor. Best way. So while she's doing that, if anyone's got any suggestions of, I know we said that we've got a few planned for the up and coming months, but if anyone's got any suggestions of what they want us to do in a live, if you've got any specific arrangements coming up that you're a bit nervous about doing for a bride or anything, or even anything really, any floral design that you've got want to recreate, just comment in the section below. We'd love to know your suggestions and we'll try and schedule them in this year. Perfect. So what are we doing now then, Nat?
Lovely. So next I'm going to move on. If I could just get you to pop that in a bucket.
Yeah, of course.
Now that I've cut it, because obviously the longer you leave it out of a bucket, the more chance of it is of the stems covering over so it won't drink as well. So now I'm going to do a couple of buttonholes. So I've gone for the lovely purple tulip, and I think I might do a rose as well. I've gone for a nice rose. So with the rose I normally pick off the guard petals, which are the ones on the outside that protect the inner, and so just take a few of those off just to neaten up the outside a little bit. And then with the rose I normally leave a good stem length and cut at an angle as well. And then I tend to use quite a thick wire for a rose because you want it to be nice and solid, so that it doesn't bend. I might just cut down a smidge more. And then I normally insert the wire up the bottom of the stem right into the top. Like so. And to go with that I've got some lovely berry foliage.
So this is actually viburnum berries.
Thank you very much. Couldn't remember the name.
That's okay.
Okay. And I'm going to wire some of the leaves.
So I'm just going to come a bit closer so you can all see. So just a bit of movement. So be. Don't hate me. I'm not going to show.
Okay.
There we are. Is that better for you all?
Perfect. So I normally insert the wire just in the back, about just over half. Push it all the way through. And then I hold the centre where I've just popped it through and bring both of them down to make a double leg mount. I think that's what the technical term is called. And then you wrap it round just like that, just to hold the bottom. And then you can manipulate the leaf to wherever position you'd like.
And as you can see, you can't really see that wire there. It's quite hidden.
And just do another one. So I've gone through the leaf there and hold on to it. And then just wrap around the bottom.
One question, Nat. Can you make those in advance?
You can, yes. Depends on the type of leaf. So you can make them in advance and then pop them into a little tub of water, because they'll still drink anyway because the stem is still exposed, so that would be absolutely fine.
Perfect. We've got Tessa just joined us. Hi Tessa, really nice to see you today. We're actually just making some buttonholes for a wedding, just showing you the difference between making a tulip buttonhole in comparison to this lovely rose that we have. It's called Flash Eye, slightly different to a typical rose. And we've also just made a hand-tied bouquet for a bridesmaid. So if you make sure when we finished, you can look back on the video and then you can see what we've been making. I might even show you at the end just because it's just so beautiful.
Okay, and then I've chosen some of the berries to go on there because I think that would fit in really lovely with the theme. And then I'm going to wire those as well. So this time I'm making like a little hook, like so. And then I tend to hook the wire just around the centre of the berries, just to get a good solid piece there, and then do exactly the same thing like before and wind it round so it's nice and strong. And I'll just do that with the other bits.
So you wire everything that goes into a buttonhole?
Yes, yeah. It's always best to make sure everything's really secure. When you've got your buttonhole on throughout the day at a wedding, obviously you hug a lot of people, so that comes in contact with quite a lot of people all the time, so you want to make sure it's really secure and sturdy and it won't fall apart at all. So just wiring everything, just make sure, just to ensure that everything's properly secure.
Perfect.
No one likes a droopy buttonhole.
No one likes a droopy buttonhole. Absolutely.
Excellent. Right, I'll just wire the tulip while I'm in the middle of wiring everything, and then I've got everything ready to go. And I'll do the same as what I've did with the rose and just pop it straight up the bottom. You have to be a little bit careful with tulips because they're a fleshy stem, so the wire is likely to try and want to come out the sides. So I always find if you support it with your fingers and watch to see if it's coming towards the edges, and you can just move the wire ever so slightly to make sure it stays in the centre.
Fantastic tip.
Alright. Okay. Now I like to tape everything that I do. So I'm just going to tape right the way from the top all the way down to the bottom. And you pull out the tape as you're going down. If you find the tape snaps very easily, the best little tip I can give you is the tape is probably too cold. So if you pop it in your pocket for a little while, or pop it near a radiator, not on top of the radiator so it melts, but near a radiator, I've done that before, and then the warmer it is, the easier it is to stretch apart there.
You find it quite a difficult tape to work with?
No. I've tried all different tapes, and this I'd say is my favourite.
Yeah.
It's very easy to work with, and I think the finish looks a lot nicer as well.
love me as you go along. We've got many compliments about the colours that we're using today.
It's a lovely colour scheme. That's nice as well to see all different colour schemes as well. So sometimes when you coming up to a wedding, you sort of think, oh, I wonder what they're going to go for. And sometimes when you hear people's colour schemes, you think, oh, I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Yeah.
But once you've got all the flowers together, it's lovely to see, especially with different venues and things as well. It's lovely to see how people have thought about the surroundings and worked out what colours will go, and that's really lovely.
Because you do have to think about all factors for the wedding, don't you?
You do,
how your colour or your themes work with your venue.
Yeah.
And not only is it a barn wedding, is it quite a what's it? I was going to say posh wedding, but
like a marquee or something like that. Yeah. Because it depends on on your lighting as well. It depends if you've got somewhere that's quite dark, you want to bring some sort of lighter shades into your arrangements rather than having anything too dark. Yeah. Because otherwise, on your pictures and things, you'll find that it just looks too dark.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that makes sense.
So you've got the colour of the year, and I absolutely think that tulip will go. The colour of the year is ultraviolet, so it's almost like this purple, to be fair. Just to show you all, ultraviolet is the colour of the year, everybody. If you're not aware. So purple is coming back in.
Good choice.
Sorry if I'm a bit shaky, by the way. I do apologise.
Okay. Right, so I've got everything wired now. So I'm going to start with the tulip. I'm going to put a nice leaf just at the back. And then I pinch in just under the stem so it's all together, because with the parafilm tape, when you actually hold it together, it does actually stick, which is quite good. So it gives you a little bit more support when you're trying to wire things together. And I'm going to tape that to the tulip, just a little bit, not too much. And I tend to do mine a little bit at a time, so I tend to do a leaf and then I'll do another piece rather than putting everything on at once and then trying to tape the whole thing. I find that really difficult because it's quite hard to hold like 3 or 4 different things at once. So I tend to do a piece at a time and just build it up really. Okay, and then I'm going to pop a leaf just at the front there, and I've just bent it back ever so slightly as well to give it a nice shape, which also covers up the mechanics of the tape, the pieces you've already just taped in. So you could leave just the one leaf if you wanted to do something a little bit different, or you can pop 2 leaves in, like so. Really just depends on what sort of look you want to go for, really. So just for example, I'm just going to go for the 2 leaves at the front, just like so, and that'll detach on like that. And then I normally leave, just squidge them all together, I normally leave, what's that, about 1 inch, I'd say, ish. And then I'd snip it off there, and then you parafilm the whole of the wires, so you've got no wires sticking out the bottom. So I'll just retape that, and I go all the way to the bottom, and then I turn my flower over, and then I retape back down the stem again. So then you've covered the ends, so it's got no sharp ends coming out the end there, and that's all nice and covered. Therefore, if the flower was to leak or anything like that, if there was a little bit of water come out, it wouldn't come out onto any clothing, which is always good.
Pop you back so we can see your face now. I feel like I've just
That's all right.
neglected you for
You
a
don't
while.
have to see my face, it's fine. Okay. There we go, so that's the tulip one.
Lovely.
Perfect. And again, depending on what you're going to make, so as we've done the tulip one here, I have finished that off today, but I will be untaping that because tomorrow, as the wedding isn't until later on in the afternoon, something like a tulip wouldn't last that well out of water. So what I'll do is I'll take off the bottom there and I'll pop it in a nice bit of water overnight, and then when we come round to delivering tomorrow, I'll then do exactly what I've just done there and just finish it off again. Because you want them, again, like the bouquet, to last as long as possible, so you want them to stay in water until the last possible minute.
Can you put it in those Oasis bricks?
You can, yeah. So you can do what I've done there and put all of your components in there, and then just take a tiny bit at the top to hold it all together, and then you can pop it into a bit of Oasis. I'd suggest leaving your stems a lot longer so they're all in the Oasis, and then in the morning when you're going to get ready to finish off and then deliver, you can then chop off the excess that you don't need and then just finish it as we've done here.
Perfect.
Okay, and the other one I've got is the lovely rose. And what was the name of that one?
That was the flash eye rose.
Very unusual. I quite like that though.
Got a nice centre to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, very nice.
It does remind me of a ranunculus, strangely.
Yes, it's
just
got
by
that
its shape.
It's got that same sort of look to it. Okay, so I just need a couple more leaves for this one.
That's a really good rose to go for, actually, when ranunculus are out of season, because we find it quite difficult to suggest, obviously, if you're going for that colour scheme, because they are in quite reds and oranges, quite autumnal colours, those roses, but it's a good alternative, just because there isn't many flowers that have the ranunculus shape. Obviously, you can always go for a rose or a garden rose to get that multiple petal look, or something like Lysianthus, double Lysianthus. But sometimes it is quite difficult to suggest alternatives for such a unique flower.
Yeah. So they are back in season now, aren't they? The
They
ranunculus,
are back in season, yes.
which is good to see.
Spring is coming.
Definitely.
Very excited. And tulips are back in season. I know they're sometimes available year round, but the majority of them are coming back. And we've actually got National Tulip Day on the 20th of January.
Okay, right, I've just wired a couple more leaves. So I'm going to pop one of those at the back like I did with the other one and just tape that in. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of berry on the side, very similar to the other one. Okay. Gone for a bit more berry on that one. I think it looked nicer with a bigger chunk of berry there. Okay. And I think with this one I might do a couple of leaves on the back of this one. Rather than a leaf at the front, just to make it slightly different, because you didn't want everything to be the same. Yeah, I might put that leaf in there as well. That's the nice bit about having a non-structured wedding as well. Nothing looks out of place because everything's got its own unique look to it, which I quite like.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to finish that one as well.
What gauge of wire are we using today, Nat?
Ooh. Now, I'm really bad at telling you what gauge they are because from a florist point of view, I know how heavy they are by how they feel rather than how they actually are, if you know what I mean.
70.
So, yeah.
So what we'll do, Sarah, is just double check. I do apologise.
I will have a little look.
But we'll comment in below just to let you know what gauge that we're using today when we finish.
Okay, so that one I've gone for the leaves all on one side just to make it look a little bit different, and I've gone for quite a lot of berry at the bottom.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Really lovely.
All right.
Really nice. And then what?
Perfect.
We won't be doing it today, but what are the other roses and what other types of buttonholes are you doing?
So I've got another tulip there, which I've gone for the red one. I can't remember the name of that one either.
I believe that's the Indiana one. It's really lovely. It's a fringed tulip.
Yeah, it's got a really lovely fluffy edge to that one, which is really pretty. Something a little bit unusual. And then I've got another rose, which is the Wild Look one.
That we showed you earlier.
That one. Go a bit closer just so you can see. And then we've got the beautiful orange ranunculus.
So in total, we've got 7 buttonholes that we're doing, all random, for bridesmaids, and we've got a corsage, and I think, and we've all obviously got the bride.
Yes,
Can't
most
her.
important.
Can't forget Jess. No, so I hope you've all. I might just come in just to say I'm here.
Come in.
Talking in the background. But I hope you've all enjoyed the video today. As I say, we will be doing videos every Friday.
Yep.
It will be me and Nat, and maybe we'll get the other florists involved. In total, there is 6 of them here, but Nat's the one that volunteered to get involved. So, as I say, if you go to our events page, we've got everything, all the ones that we've scheduled in, and if you have any suggestions that you want us to do, any bouquets or any designs, urns, anything really, just comment it below or even direct message us. We're happy to take any suggestions. But I hope you have a lovely evening. It's Friday.
Yay.
Enjoy G&T. That's what I'll be doing. But enjoy. We'll be busy tomorrow doing the wedding in the morning.
Yep.
You're delivering it, aren't you?
I am,
So she'll be very happy, hopefully. But I hope you all have a nice weekend, and we will see you next week.
See you then.
Bye. I've got to stop it.